She was sexually harassed at Tinder, fired, and sued them. Then she created a rival app and became the youngest female CEO to take a company public. How Whitney Wolfe Herd's revenge success story birthed the $3 billion Bumble empire. July 1, 1989, Salt Lake City, Utah. Whitney Wolfe is born. Her family is strong and entrepreneurial. Her father, Michael Wolfe, is a real estate developer. Her mother, Kelly, is a Catholic school principal. She grows up surrounded by strong female figures. She spends her childhood in Dallas, Texas. Classic Southern girl, sorority culture, social activities, strong family bonds. But Whitney has a different fire inside her. During high school, she starts a social enterprise making purses for impoverished children in Southeast Asia. Called Help Us Project. "I didn't just want to be pretty, I wanted to create change," Whitney says. She attends Southern Methodist University, joins Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority, studies marketing and international studies. During college, her organizational and marketing abilities stand out. Natural talent for event planning, social media use, and building networks. She graduates in 2011. At 22 years old, she has no technology experience but strong social media knowledge. She moves to Los Angeles, starts working at Hatch Labs, a startup incubator. Her job? Develop marketing strategies for new mobile applications. Whitney doesn't know that this job will present her with both the biggest opportunity and biggest trauma of her life. 2012, a new project starts at Hatch Labs, a dating app. Sean Rad, Justin Mateen, Jonathan Badeen, and Joe Munoz are the founders of this project, a male-dominated team. Whitney Wolfe joins as head of marketing. Her mission: spread the app on university campuses. The initial name is Matchbox, later it becomes Tinder. Whitney's marketing strategy creates a revolution. She uses her sorority background. She organizes party events on university campuses. The strategy is simple but effective. First, she gets sorority girls to download the app. Then she goes to fraternities and says all the pretty girls are on this app. USC, UCLA, Arizona State, Texas. She applies the same tactic on every campus. Whitney was the real founder of Tinder, says technology journalist Nancy Jo Sales. Without her, Tinder never would have grown. By the end of 2012, Tinder is growing explosively. Millions of swipes per day, the result of Whitney's marketing genius. But the male founders dismiss Whitney's contribution. Sean Rad becomes CEO, Justin Mateen becomes CMO. Whitney only gets the title marketing director. She's removed from the founders list. The first warning signs. Whitney and Justin Mateen have a brief romantic relationship. It ends in 2013. This becomes the nightmare of Whitney's life. Justin Mateen begins systematically inflicting psychological violence on Whitney. In the company environment, Justin calls Whitney whore, desperate, you're just a pretty face. Humiliates her in front of other employees. Whitney becomes isolated at the company. She's excluded from meetings, cut out of decisions. Justin treated me like I didn't exist, Whitney says. Like I had no role in Tinder's founding. The situation gets worse. Justin tries to minimize Whitney's success at Tinder. He tells other employees Whitney had no contribution. Whitney's mental health begins to deteriorate. She falls into depression. "I was afraid to go to work every day," she says. "I didn't know what kind of humiliation I would face." In 2014, the situation becomes unbearable. Sean Rad, as CEO, sees the situation but doesn't intervene. He even supports Justin. Whitney complains to management. She gets no results. In April 2014, Whitney is forced to resign from Tinder. But the story doesn't end here. June 2014, Whitney makes a brave decision. She sues Tinder. A sexual harassment and discrimination lawsuit. Shocking details emerge in the case. Messages Justin Mateen sent to Whitney. "You're 24 years old, you're a huge whore, I hope we match because I'm going to destroy you." Sean Rad's response. Too much drama. Whitney's lawyer is Gloria Allred, famous lawyer for women's rights issues. This isn't just Whitney's case, it's the case of all women in Silicon Valley, Allred says. A media explosion occurs. Whitney goes through very difficult days during this period. "When I woke up in the morning, I felt sick," she says. "I was afraid to read what was written about me on the internet." Some people characterize Whitney as a gold digger. But Whitney is determined. This isn't for money, this is for justice. In September 2014, the case ends with a confidential settlement. The amount isn't disclosed, but estimated at $1+ million. But for Whitney, the real victory, Justin Mateen is fired from Tinder. October 2014. Whitney is mentally and legally drained. Her career seems over. She's known as a troublemaker in Silicon Valley. But at this point, the encounter that will change Whitney's life occurs. Andrei Andreev, founder of Magic Lab, reaches out to Whitney. Andrei is the founder of Badoo, Europe's largest dating platform. "I want to work with you," Andrei says. "Let's create something new." Whitney is initially hesitant. Does she want to return to the dating world? But then a different approach comes to mind. What if we give control to women? The idea is revolutionary. In the dating app, only women can write the first message. Why? Whitney's conclusion from her Tinder experience: male-dominated platforms are unsafe for women. Women constantly receive unwanted messages, Whitney says. Dick pics, sexually explicit messages. This isn't normal. The Bumble idea is born. Women make the first move. Andrei makes a $10 million seed investment. Whitney becomes CEO. She gets a 20% stake. Development begins in December 2014. December 2014, December 2015. Bumble's founding year. Whitney works with a small team in Austin, Texas. First challenge, technical team. Whitney is a marketing genius, but doesn't know coding. Andrei's team in London does the development. Second challenge, funding. American VCs approach with skepticism. Whitney is seen as problematic. "No one wanted to invest in me," Whitney says. "I was considered high risk because of the lawsuit." Third challenge, market challenge. Tinder is dominant. Match Group, Tinder's owner, applies aggressive competitive tactics, but Whitney knows her advantages. 1. Value proposition, women first. 2. Different side expertise. She knows how to go viral. 3. Macadia attention, recognition from her lawsuit. 4. Target market, women's safety problem is real. December 2015, Bumble launches. First day, 100 downloads. First week, 1,000 users. First month, 50,000 active users. Viral growth begins. 2016, Bumble's growth year. Whitney's strategy is completely different from Tinder. Brand positioning, feminist empowerment. This isn't just a dating app, Whitney says. This is a women's rights movement. Marketing approach, influencer partnerships. Partnerships with powerful women like Priyanka Chopra, Serena Williams, Chelsea Handler. Product features, women first everything. Bumble Date, women write the first message. Bumble BFF, finding female friends. BUMBLE'S, professional networking. Company culture, female leadership. 85% of Bumble employees are women. Social impact, women's rights activism. Whitney turns her personal story into brand narrative. "I was sexually harassed, but I didn't give up. I empowered women," becomes the messaging. Result: Bumble becomes not just an app, but a movement. By the end of 2016, 5 million registered users, 1 million daily active users, available in 22 countries. Tinder starts to worry. March 2018, Match Group, Tinder's owner, sues Bumble for patent infringement. Claim: Bumble copied Tinder's swipe technology, but the real reason is different. Bumble is growing dangerously. Whitney's response is epic: counterattack. "Match Group tried to buy us. We refused. Now they're trying to destroy us," Whitney says. Bumble files a $400 million counter lawsuit. Claims: trade secret theft, unfair competition, patent misuse. Whitney launches an aggressive media campaign. Full-page ad in New York Times. "Dear Match Group, we are a movement changing women's lives. You're just a corporate bully." Public opinion is on Bumble's side. The tech community supports Whitney. The lawsuit ends with a settlement in 2020. Details are secret, but Bumble is considered to have won. This lawsuit completely changes Whitney's reputation in Silicon Valley. She's no longer seen as a problem, but as a fighter. 2018-2020, Bumble's expansion years. Whitney implements an aggressive international growth strategy. Geographic expansion: Europe, UK, Germany, France, Asia, India, Singapore, Malaysia, Latin America, Brazil, Mexico, Argentina. Product diversification: Bumble for Friends, BFF, Bumble for Business, Biz, Bumble Web Platform. Revenue model evolution: premium subscriptions, Bumble Boost, Bumble Premium, Super Swipe, Spotlight features. Corporate partnerships: marketing innovation, pop-up events, feminist campaigns, political activism. Whitney does very smart political positioning. Voter registration campaign in 2018 midterm elections. Black Lives Matter support in 2020. Mental health initiatives during COVID-19. This positioning makes Bumble a lifestyle brand. Financial performance explosion: 2018, $100 million revenue. 2019, $200 million revenue. 2020, $500+ million revenue. 40+ million monthly active users. Whitney has now caught up with Tinder. End of 2020, Whitney makes the big decision: IPO. Why? Market timing, dating apps booming during after COVID, financial performance, profitable growth, brand strength, unique positioning, personal validation, Whitney's ultimate vindication. IPO preparations begin. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley are lead underwriters. Valuation target: $6 to $8 billion. February 11, 2021. Historic day. Bumble begins trading on NASDAQ with ticker BMBL. Opening price: $76, 64% above IPO price. Market cap: $13+ billion. Whitney stake: 11.6%, $1.5+ billion. At 31 years old, Whitney Wolfe Herd makes history. The youngest female CEO to take her company public in history. Whitney's tears on IPO day. 7 years ago, I lost my job due to sexual harassment. Today, I'm making history. Bell ringing ceremony at NASDAQ. Whitney holds her baby Booth in her arms. This isn't just my victory, this is every woman's victory. Media frenzy. Time, Forbes, Fortune cover stories. Whitney is now not just a CEO, but an icon. Whitney Wolfe Herd status in 2025. Net worth $1.8 billion. Age 35. Position executive chairman. Stepped down as CEO in 2022. Bumble numbers: 50+ million monthly active users. 2+ million paying subscribers. $800+ million annual revenue. Operations in 40+ countries. Company valuation: $3+ billion. Whitney's other ventures: the Whitney Wolfe Herd Foundation, funding for female entrepreneurs, domestic violence prevention, digital safety for women, angel investing, female-founded startups, social impact companies, mental health platforms, speaking and activism, UN Women Ambassador Texas legislation on digital harassment, congressional testimony on tech regulation. Whitney is now not just a business leader, but a social movement leader. Whitney's sphere of influence extends far beyond dating. Legal impact: 2019 Texas digital dating abuse law, result of Whitney's lobbying. Harsh penalties for cyber harassment, non-consensual photo sharing, platform safety innovations, mandatory photo verification, AI-powered harassment detection, block and report features, in-app safety education. Industry influence: Tinder, Hinge, OkCupid copy, Bumble's safety features. Whitney makes the dating industry women's safe. Legislative testimony 2021 Congress hearing on tech platform safety. Whitney: companies should think people before profit. Global impact: Whitney's input in EU Digital Services Act, safety requirements for online platforms. Secrets of Whitney Wolfe Herd's success. First lesson: transform trauma into purpose. Sexual harassment didn't destroy me, it strengthened me. I used my own experience to create solutions. Second lesson: differentiation is everything. Don't make a Me Too product. Offer a different value proposition. Women-first approach set us apart. Third lesson: build movement, not just product. Bumble isn't just an app, it's a feminist movement. People connect to purpose, not just product. Fourth lesson: use the legal system. Don't be afraid to seek justice. My lawsuit protected not just me, but all women. Fifth lesson: timing matters. Me Too movement, female empowerment trends created perfect timing for Bumble. Sixth lesson, build diverse team. Homogeneous teams think homogeneously. Diversity creates innovation. What does Whitney Wolfe Herd's story teach you? That woman who was harassed at Tinder is now the founder of a billion-dollar company. That woman who was called just a pretty face is now history's youngest female billionaire. That woman who is considered problematic is now a women's rights icon. How is this possible? Because she transformed victimhood into power, because she turned rejection into motivation, because she created solutions instead of complaining, because she got the best revenge, success. And you can too. Whatever discrimination you're facing, whatever harassment you're experiencing, whatever injustice you're living through. Remember, Whitney was also just a 24-year-old marketing employee, scared, traumatized, victimized woman, but she decided to write her own future. In Whitney's words, the greatest successes come from the greatest challenges. So what problem will you solve? What industry will you change? What is your Bumble project? Like Whitney, you too can transform your traumas into triumph, because the darkest moments can be the beginning of the brightest opportunities. And each of you has that power. Believe. Be different. Never give up. Your revenge success starts now. From harassment to empire. From victim to victor.